Hello, hello, hello. I'm Christy Abel, certified sexual health educator, high school counselor, teacher, and mom. Today I'm here to share with you how porn can affect your brain and body like a drug. But first, I would like to state that I do not believe that porn is inherently wrong or morally unethical. Okay, it is just very, very important we understand that porn is not like sex in real life, and it sure isn't sex ed. All right, before we can talk about porn addiction, let's talk a little bit about how addiction forms. So deep inside everybody's brain, there is this thing called the reward pathway, and it does pretty much exactly what it says, right? It rewards us by doing things that help keep us alive, keep us healthy, and help us grow. And it does this by releasing chemicals, mostly dopamine, but also ones called oxytocin, when we do something to achieve this, whether it's practicing for hours on your 3-point shot so that you can get it. I'm a puzzle person. I love jigsaw puzzles, and I actually just call it my dopamine drip, because when I place a piece, especially if I've been looking for it for a while, I get a little like, ooh, right? This is my brain rewarding me with some dopamine because I'm doing something to grow it. Now, when people use a lot of porn or they use drugs, right, and become addicted, okay, it's basically what happening is you are getting rewarded for no effort, okay? So when people take drugs like cocaine or opioids like heroin, they make users feel high by triggering the reward pathway, but they've bypassed the effort, okay? So, and porn works in the same way. So the more a person uses drugs or consumes porn, the more those pathways get wired into the brain. I'll talk about this more in a second, making it easier and easier for them to turn back to using, even if they don't really want to. Now, thanks to the good old internet, like, let's be clear, porn's been around for like thousands of years. You can see it in Greek things, you can see it in Pompeii, like it's been there, but it hasn't been like it is now, okay? So porn now is mostly in the form of sexually explicit internet movies. That's what research calls it, okay? And it provides this endless cocktail of novelty, shock, surprise, and then you pair it with the best thing, the biggest dopamine release that the human body has is orgasm. So when you combine all of this together, you get a bigger dopamine surge. Now, because porn sites offers an endless stream of variety, users can just click, click, click and flip to a new video when that high starts to fade. And that way the dopamine levels can stay elevated for hours. And of course, porn is free and extremely easily accessible on the internet. If you are a parent and you want to know how you can put up more safe search settings on your kids' phones so that they have like a way less chance of accessing it, especially by accident, please check out on my YouTube channel. It's called Caregiver Preview, Pornography Literacy. There's a section in there on things that you can do. All right, back to this. Okay, so brain scientists have this saying: neurons that fire together wire together. And this is what called neuroplasticity. I could talk about neuroplasticity all day long. I'm a counselor. It is, but I won't. Not right now. All right. So when brain cells get activated at the same time, when you take something in via your senses, right, whether it's like hearing, smell, sight, they release chemicals that then help strengthen the connection between those neurons. Okay, neuroplasticity is amazing, and the good news is that it works in both directions. So that means that if a person does damage to their brain through addiction in this way, okay, you can actually move away from it by shifting some of those unhealthy behaviors. And this is why I like talk therapy, which obviously I'm a fan of. I'm a counselor, right? Can be very effective in overcoming addiction. It's actually essential. Okay, addiction of any kind damages the part of the brain that helps you think through and make good choices. Okay, this is called the brain's limiting system, which essentially it tells you like when to stop, right? Like it's time to stop drinking, or it's time to finish up whatever your drug you're taking, that kind of thing, right? And this is interesting because it's in your prefrontal cortex, which is where your logical problem solving and decision making, and that gets damaged. So eventually what happens with whether it's porn, whether it's drugs, whether it's alcohol, people find that they can't feel normal without that dopamine high. And for teenagers, the risks are especially high because the reward pathway for teenagers is 2 to 4 times more powerful than the adult brain. Okay. Porn also affects people's sexual tastes. Many porn users will start off with something, let's call it basic, okay? Just kind of basic. But as the addiction starts to move forward, they start looking at things that maybe used to gross them out, disgust them, or go against what they think is morally right. Okay, so perhaps starting to watch extreme or dangerous sex acts. Porn users are being taught when they do this, that those behaviors are much more common in real life than they actually are. And this can cause significant issues in real life in regards to sexual assault, sexual harassment, gender equity, and racism. Now, perhaps the biggest sign of porn addiction is erectile dysfunction. As far as I know, there are no studies done on those on porn and the relationship with those with a vulva and vagina, but that's pretty par for the course when it comes to medical research in general. So another topic for another time. Okay, now 30 years or so ago, before SEIM, right, sexually explicit internet movies were around, when a person with a penis developed erectile dysfunction, it was because they were probably over 40. And one of the reasons for this is that as people age, their blood vessels can get blocked, which for someone with a penis would make it harder to maintain an erection. Chronic erectile dysfunction for anybody under the age of 35 was like basically unheard of. Now, this has changed dramatically because of porn. There is a skyrocketing number of current male or with a penis, porn users when they realize they can't they can no longer have sex in real life. There's online message boards that are being flooded with comments and concerns from porn users in their teens and 20s complaining that they can't get and or maintain an erection. For this kind of erectile dysfunction, the problem is not in the penis. It is not a physical problem. The problem is in the brain. Erections are powered by the brain, powerful chemicals that in the brain's reward center, okay, that are released when a person with a penis sees, hears, smells, or feels something that turns them on. But what's happened now, okay, is that 25% of all erectile dysfunction ED prescription requests now come from men under the age of 30. And it's because of porn. Okay, so very much so. Now, can you watch porn without becoming addicted? Of course, okay, of course you can. Just like not everybody who tries alcohol becomes an alcoholic, the same is true for porn. So what can you do? Okay, number one, moderation, okay? Whatever moderation looks like for you, that is not for me to decide, okay? Also, step away from the porn and use your imagination. Think about past times that you've had sex. Think about things. Do not rely on the screen, okay? That is essential. Like, find other ways to pleasure yourself. Also, watch porn that has that storyline that shows consent. There is ethical porn out there, usually made by female directors, not gonna lie. But there is that focuses on romantic interactions that focus on intimacy. And also you could try reading a lot erotic literature, because the dopamine release, the dopamine buildup you'll be rewarding something instead of just going for that instant hit. Now, if you are interested in more of a deeper dive into the research that supports everything I've just been talking about, you can find it over on my YouTube channel. It is called Pornography Literacy. I will put the links below if I can, and I will see you next time.